the record button, and we are live.
Hi. So we start now. So welcome and thank you for making it on this Saturday. I know for some it's early and for some it's late and for some it's Saturday. Yeah, so today we will look at a few core concepts that are incredibly important for everything we are building. And Wolfgang had asked me to just start by showing you what we have been up to and sharing a little bit what has been going on since the all members meeting we had earlier this year. I don't remember when exactly because all the month and weeks are kind of merging into one big blob, but it feels like a few weeks ago. So so I think maybe to start with is one, save the date. We don't have a date yet, but we have a date range. So we know that some intersection 21 will happen in the second half of September, and it won't be that long, but it will be in that time frame. We are currently looking at options to do it on-site in Sweden and or remotely in a way that we can actually look at what is feasible shortly before the thing happens, because we think that's the only way really to deal with the situation, is to look at it in maybe early August and be like, okay, will it be fully virtual? Will it be a real intersection conference like in 2019 in Lisbon, or even a bigger one? Or will it be hybrid? But anyway, it will be around this time frame. And usually what happens is that this is kind of the, last year we had the facet model ready, and also this iteration of the Milky Way map, the Milky Way enterprise map. We had those ready for intersection to use that in our Basecamp training and also use it around the conference. And so everything that will happen till then will probably accumulate to something that we can use and show at that event in September. And so showing you, for example, one thing that we are working on right now is maps. So this is Wolfgang's latest template for a capability map, featuring the enterprise design modeling language kind of notation that we're working on with Dennis. And so here you see some train company and their capabilities. And we have a little working group looking at how to use capability maps like this, how to make them, what kind of things should be on there, how should we call them, how do we stack them together, what is this being used for, when to use it, when not to use it, what kind of stuff is hidden behind a capability, how does all of that fit together with the other stuff of the facets, what are the design patterns that we find again and again in this map. And so this is going on for this map, for things like journey maps and task models, for things like organization models, for the Milky Way map, and so on. And we are doing this in the work streams and in groups that kind of spin off from the work streams and look at specific models like this one.
And I think that's an important one, because we are playing around with the structure. So what is a tool? How could it look like? And that's the first where we played around with the templates. Still, we are not there yet, but I think each tool will have a clear name. Authorship is important, so we want to encourage you to also come up with tools. Then we have one sentence. What is it used for? What is it all about in one sentence? And then we have an example. So we are really keen on using the same example, probably a railway operator, throughout all the tools. So this having examples is very important. And then you go further to use it when, don't use it when, some introduction and some design patterns. And as you can see, I think it's possible to have a tool described in 4 or 5 slides. It should be possible. But behind of this capability topic, for example, I'm also about to write a paper that is connected more to the scientific literature and so on. But yeah, and we are still playing around, and Milan is doing it for Milky Way together with Annika. And I think we are about to have a seamless connection between the worlds there, right?
Yes, exactly. And you see that in the capability map, the element that is featured in there is, of course, the capability, which is connected to processes, organizational units, products being delivered by the capabilities, serving tasks by people and across their journeys and so on. And so this is why today is so incredibly important, because this map and all the other maps and models and workshop formats and job titles and so on, the idea of the intersection group is basically that they fit together and that they together co-design and deliver the enterprise. So this is why we need to clarify what's happening here in the architecture circle or in the architecture lens. How do we connect that with what's happening in the identity lens and the experience lens? How do we deal with these intersections? And how do we translate that into, for example, maps and models that we can use to zoom in, zoom out? If, for example, we can do something really well, can that be mapped on the capability map? Can it be connected to the product? And can we find a customer task or problem that this product, enabled by this capability and delivered by this organization, really serves well? So these kind of questions are at the heart of what we're doing. I think
yeah, but I think
over someone, no?
Yeah, I think we will also have it in the Miro board when Jean-Sébastien takes over. So, but I think the core message here is that we already have started toolkit production, and it seems as if we will have a really major strategic enterprise design tools for this design challenge. So if you go to the wiki, and we presented it last time, we see maybe 6, 7, 8 design challenges. And then one is the strategic enterprise design, where the Milky Way comes from, and Milan's work probably. And the second design challenge we will have ready by end of this year is that closer to IT. So currently it's called application portfolio design. There's also a group of people, and we have all sort of more IT related discussions there. And so expect by end of this year to have a toolkit ready that seamlessly connects the world of software to strategic enterprise design. So maybe that could be one way to see it. Yeah.
And maybe just a sneak preview. So it's still under construction, but it's coming hopefully soon. Our new website, where we actually explain what the heck it is that we are doing and how these things fit together. And in there, for example, you see also the work streams that are currently being launched around these different topics: how to connect to strategic management, how to do organization design, enterprise maps, design systems, IA, software architecture development, all of these topics that we need to bring together, and then how that would also connect to things like the intersection toolkit, which is what we will talk about today, and things like the enterprise design facets, what's where, and so on. So yeah, so as you see, it exists. We are very happy about this, and I want to especially thank Dennis for a lot of work on this one. Yeah, people will review, read, correct, and debug it over the next week, and then it will go online. But what we are doing today, I think, is incredibly important for connecting this, like you could say, outer showcase of what we are doing, this what's happening inside our association to develop these kind of things, and the model that connects those two things. So tries to at the same time simplify it so much that we can easily explain and use it all over the world, and coming from different perspectives, but at the same time deep dive into what does it actually mean to design with something like a capability. Yeah, and I think with that, that's all I had to say. Wolfgang, you want to add something?
Yeah, I have some messages too. So yeah, thank you, Susan, for your comment, and please send all your love to Dennis, because he's I don't know how he does that. Everything gets beautiful and designed in clarity. So please send it to him. So this will be an awesome website, and you have seen not that much. It will be really cool and really important to attract partners, right? So that's maybe what we are looking for, are partners that also sponsor, like Hans is here today. Hans von Bommel is our early adopter. However, yeah, and I want to say a few words about progress. Yeah, so and also about the work streams, right? There was some discussion in the Slack channel, and also thank you, Susan, for giving me some feedback on that. Because, and also we have some case here we can discuss. The good news, and I really want to thank all the workstream leads. So that's Helge, Jean-Sebastian, Pascal, Tim, Bülent, and André, and of course the core team, right? We have Annika and Bart and Scott and Susan. I mean, the good thing is, I'm really excited about that I think we have a core of 15 or 20 really active members. Active means that they are here and help us to build a sustained momentum. Yeah. 1 year ago, it felt a bit like Milan and I were the ones who drive and momentum and so on, right? Right now it's getting much better, right? And there's some critical questions by some people coming and some input, and that's really, really exciting to see. So, and I wrote to Susan today, I think we're making tremendous progress. That's amazing. I've never expected in these three months of our existence that we would be able to build that momentum. And I also know that some stream leads struggle a bit with building a group, right? And so these are streams that have been founded 1 month ago, 2 months ago. And I tell those guys, Pascal, for example, well, André, yeah, I know it takes time until a group is a group. So a group of people becomes a team that works on a certain outcome. So that's not a surprise at all. So that's, and I really want to thank you, Pascal and André, that you keep the momentum and you keep, yes, I need this group. That helps us a lot, even if it's tough in the beginning. And maybe it's exactly the same what we experienced 2.5 years ago, right? When we launched Architectural Thinking, then I met Milan. It took us 2 years to the point where we are right now. At the beginning, we had so many discussions, what it is all about, what is it, what we're producing, and I see the same happening in the work stream. So thank you for all the energy you put into this, in the stream leads, yeah, right? And last week we started the exploration work stream with Helgi, and the co-design workshop with Jean-Sebastian, who also facilitates today. So what I see, there's a lot of momentum building up, and people are doing what they're good at, like Dennis in the web page, and Ibtisam. She's not here today, but she's amazing and helps us in this communication and social media marketing. We had a session with her yesterday. So there's a lot going on. Or we had Paul Tolchinski giving an awesome fireside chat 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and we will foster that. So I'm more than happy that Valeria, she's from Hungary, Valeria Gheorghe, I don't know if I pronounce your name right, so sorry about that. She's from Budapest, so quite close to Vienna, and she volunteers to organize this campfire session. So from now on, we will have them probably monthly or so, and that's also a call for participation. So she will send out something soon where people can send her, well, I have a topic I want to present in a campfire session, because the format we had with Paul 2 weeks ago, the talk was awesome, and I think we need some time to understand from the aliens, right? So the Paul's talk was something alien to me because I'm not an org designer. And I really want to have a product designer to give his alien talk. And the strategy people, that's so alien, but it's a good starting point to find a way into these intersections. We are at the beginning to meet in these intersections, right? And there's also some friction. And maybe that's also an important message here. Typically, I embrace friction. And then people something say, why do you embrace friction? Because friction means progress. You can't imagine how much friction I had with Milan over the last 16 months, right? We had daily Slack battles while I'm jogging. And after 1 year, he presented the when, and I was completely flabbergasted and said, yes, that's it. But we must be aware that this takes, in that case, it took us 1 year, yeah, to bridge this gap. And it was alien at the beginning when we started to bridge enterprise design and architecture. For me, this enterprise design world was so alien, and now it gets more and more familiar. And so for me, the message here is embrace friction, right? And dare to challenge your holy cows. We are all fools. Maybe that's part also of my message. Always, I'm a fool, and please be aware, everybody is a fool, and we don't know it because we are so siloed in our thinking. And please open that. And I think the campfire sessions will be a good opportunity that each of your aliens present your stuff, and we can better discuss this connection. So expect it to happen. Yeah. So and do you see my screen now? Have I shared? Yeah, do you see it? Okay. And maybe recently there was a bit of friction and frustration in some members. Well, I have a certain idea in mind. I have a certain concept, right? And yeah, let's do it, and so on. And I think what I would like to encourage you all, whenever you have an idea around whatever topic, I mean, the topic is so huge. Yeah, we have so many topics. I think the best way is find a group of people, create a Slack channel, maybe keep it open, and discuss the idea there. And once it is mature enough, ask to present it at the core team. Everything we present today has been discussed by the core team. So the Venn diagram and the loop. So that's the natural process. I think the loop has been created half a year ago. The Venn has been created 1 year ago. So maybe the message here is, yeah, it's slower than you want it to be, but we must be really careful to keep the core coherent and as small as possible. If we won't have this long process from an idea to understand in which context does this idea fit, how is it related to the existing concepts, and expect those discussions to take 1 year at least, right? And so maybe that's also a talk to encourage you to do it, right? Whenever you have an idea, we embrace ideas. And if they don't fit with what's in the core concept so far, I like this friction, so let's discuss. Yeah, but this discussion will take some time. And also what has happened around the workstream is we worked a lot about how to scope them. I think we are doing much better now. We have a better understanding what is the boundary between the work stream. Yesterday, we had a session with Andre, for example, asked and discussed what's the scope of the software and software development work stream, and how is it related to the IT design challenge? Maybe we have some answers, right? We might not be there yet, but it gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And seeing the progress we've made over the last 2 months, for me, it's overwhelming, to be honest, right? And we need maybe better communication, and probably we will have a session like this quarterly. So that's I think that could be a good idea, that members can stay up to date, because there's so much going on. Yeah, and yeah, the final word of my talk is I want to encourage you to bring in your ideas, even if they are not aligned with the core yet. Let's discuss it, and discuss it with a group of people. Make a Slack channel. Do a campfire talk. I embrace that friction. So we don't have the truth. We don't have the truth as the presidents. We don't have the truth in the core team. We are all fools. And this kind of mindset, I think it's important to be humble enough to understand that the presidents are fools, and the core team, we have so limited views. And then, yeah. That's maybe also part of the values, and maybe a good introduction, and move the session to Jean Sébastien, because for me it was really important to work on the values and maybe on behaviors and so on. So who are we? There was also a comment by John Götze last week, I saw it, right? And he said, maybe the only two people who know who we are the presidents and maybe the core team. And maybe he's right? That's the reason that's coming. That's part of our history, and that's also the motivation for the session today, because I think it's a journey to build a shared why and a shared identity. It's the green bubble, right? That's what we're doing. We're doing enterprise design in this green bubble today. And I'm more than happy to have Jean Sébastien, who is probably the best Miro wizard you can have on this planet, and he will be facilitating us for the rest of this session. Okay, I don't know. So if somebody has an urgent question, I don't know, or shall we move to Jean Sébastien? All right, so
let's start then.
Yeah, let's start.
So I make you the host.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Still recording. Perfect. First, I'm going to share my screen to everybody here. But just for those who have their webcam open, just raise your hand if you went to the Miro board yesterday or today and completed a bit of the task I asked you guys. Okay, great. Almost all of you. So I'm going to do a small review of what we did there, and maybe talk a bit more about what Wolfgang just said here. So I had an idea when Wolfgang and Milan presented to me the toolkit graph and the facets here. I tried to understand what it means to me and how we can bridge everyone together to have a better understanding to these. And since I'm always facilitating and working with Canvas and these kinds of template, I converted them into workshops and templates. So what we are looking here is actually part of a little book here. We are looking for pre-existing wisdom. So everybody have knowledge. And what I thought about these different aspects here, I said, okay, there's people who actually have knowledge. These knowledge are actually based on people's work, and everybody have some skills. So Wolfgang said, okay, if you have an idea, you want to build something, now what you can do with that board, you can go back anytime you want and say, okay, let's say I'm the co-design design sprint lead, and now I created something with my team and I need some people to say, oh, is it good or not? I can go here, take all these people, create a chat. Hey, I want you to try that little workshop for me. So now you can see who knows what. So you can reuse that. And you can do the same with the facets here. Now I can see there's a lot of architect within the group and not a lot of people with the branding here. So if I want to test something, I might want to try to find some people outside the group here. So it's a kind of way of mapping our knowledge here. And I can see that some job title here have been more debatable, lots of notes. Some people that are correcting, oh, this is not the good title, the same title here. This is something I actually expected, because the same title is not generally the same task in different businesses, organizations. So you might want to look back at all these things and have a better ideas of who knows what and how it goes and what are the skill required. So we will be able to link everybody.
It will all be connected, also be connected to the wiki. So after this workshop, I will send out the video and of course the link to the Miro board, because I think it's really important and we must make it easy to that people find it, right? So, but I'm getting silent again.
And feel free to add information on the board over time. I'm going to leave it open for everybody to add things they learned throughout times and to be able to see like who knows what skill and everything. And on the skill part also, there's a few interesting things that we can notice. Let's say it's going to be very fast. I haven't had time to read everything, but let's say on the co-design part, there's the emotion intelligence here, which seems to be prominent, or the storytelling part. But there's no like storytelling or emotional intelligence is still here. So why is it there? So why is it there? How do you define emotional intelligence? How the emotional intelligence should work in co-design or in realization? So is it the same skill? Is someone who's doing actually co-design can collaborate with someone in realization to define that? So now we have all this information that we will be able to make like in between these different notions there. So this is what we were aiming for. There's places here for you to write question down. We're going to move to the core value workshop first, and then if we have we still have time, we might want to ask Wolfgang and Milan to take some of these questions, and we're going to go through a lightning talk at the end. So try to answer some of these. So anytime you feel like you have question about these things, you can put it there, and it's going to be a place where we can share all these questions. And if you have this question, it means someone else probably have the same question, and we have to make it easy to understand and to answer these different questions here. So we're going to come back there after the workshop. What I'm going to do, I'm going to explain to you the core value workshop that we are going to do. We already did it once with a small group, so now it's broader group. There's a little bit more people and different people. What we want to identify is what should be the core values for the intersection group here. So Wolfgang, or no, let's say Milan. Wolfgang or Milan, any of you, what are core value to you? What does it mean for a group?
A core value in general?
Yeah, there's text here. I'm sharing the screen, so it's your cheat sheet, but I want you to say it.
Ah.
I think it's something important to no. Yeah. So I don't know, when it comes to the identity facet that we are working on today, I always find it helps to think about the enterprise as if it would be a human being. And so if intersection group would be a human being, what would that person value? What do they believe in? And how does that translate into behavior that this person exhibits? I think is a good way to think about it, because of course there are many people in here, and we have different, cultures and values, I guess. But when it comes and the enterprise in the end is about an ambition, and our ambition is to help people create better enterprises. And this already, I think this ambition already tells something about something that we value. So we value better enterprises. But what does it actually mean? And how do we want to get there? This should be driven by some beliefs. Like, for example, maybe we think that we should just write a huge Bible with all the rules that apply to creating enterprises. And then we go to the world government and we say, make it a law. And so everyone is forced to use what our rules of how to create great enterprises. And I'm just making this point to say, probably not. But then what is important to us? And what are those values? And then, yeah, how would we implement them, and how would we translate them to what we do first, which is our priorities?
Yeah.
Milan, may I ask you something? Milan?
Yeah.
No, that's against our value to ask.
And we never listen. We don't listen at all. So
go ahead, Hans.
My question to you is, if you envision intersection as being a person, then when you are a good person, and you treat your girlfriend or husband well, then you become a better person if you treat them better over time. But what about your own health status? So is it not about better, so better enterprises and healthy enterprises? Because that's two very different things. And healthy means also, if you perceive an enterprise as a group of people, that means that when it's healthy, then the state of the people within the enterprise is also very important, instead of as a group being good for the outside world.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hans, thank you. That's amazing feedback. Of course, yeah, of course. And that's also the reason why we are running the workshop today. We started the value discussion in the core team 1 year ago, and then we didn't have so many members at these times. And then we had amazing discussions, and now we enlarge it to, we didn't also had the discussions in the core team 1 month ago, and with the workstream leads 2 months ago or so. And then today it's important for us to collect your ideas, right? Because this shared us, this shared identity can only be coming out of a group of people. And then we can find, are we aligned with our values? For example, if somebody thinks that we are a commercial organization and we must make money as a value, I'm sure it's not compatible. So that's a clear value. I think that's not for profit, that's clear. And for me, that consequence on behavior is important, right? So that the value, for example, for me, a value could be, we are all fools. I'm not sure if this is a value, but maybe that's a mindset. And this might have consequences on the behavior. And over the first 2 months, I've seen some behavior, maybe from myself, maybe from other people, where I say, maybe I'm not so happy with this kind of behavior. And that's the reason why we have the value. The values are not discussed for yet. And I absolutely agree. That's also about the health of the organization and the health of Intersection Group and all of its members. But we are at the starting point, right? So we have been founded, the first meeting was 2 months ago, and we have 72 members now, everybody coming from different cultures. And it's clear that this process will take some time. But at the end, maybe end of this year, we will have something we can publish on the website, and the members subscribe to it and say, yes, that's a value I can identify with. That I think that's the idea. But Hans, I absolutely agree. We must all also try to be a healthy organization, right? That's a challenge because we are growing. People connect to us, and with publishing the values on the web page, we might attract the right people. So I think nobody that thinks too commercially will connect to us. I don't think so. But that's fine. And that's why these values are so important. We will of course have them on the web page as soon as the members agree on them.
So now I get it, probably because I'm drunk, I get a little bit confused. But if you talk about the values of the intersection, now we are talking about the values of the intersection group itself, and we're not talking about the designing enterprises, better enterprises and healthy enterprises. So it's about the intersection group itself, huh?
Today,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah.
No worries. So we're gonna move on. So today it's a workshop. So I want you to think on pattern number 7. It's a safe negotiation space today. And what we are trying to do is to have a shared vision. This is such a good book. I should sell it. I'm going to explain you the workshop, what we are going to do, and then I'm going to send you the Miro link for those who aren't on the Miro board yet. So I can see there's already a dozen of you guys, but for now, don't play with the board, just listen to me. So it'll be easier for everybody to do everything. So what I did, I created a lot of board. So I'm going to divide everybody into the small teams, 4 or 5 in each team, so you can manage a conversation, because a conversation with 20, 30 people is not manageable online. So we're going to split you into teams, and you have the instruction here, and it's easy enough. What I want you in team is just to read the why, read the goal of the intersection group, and then ask yourself what should be our core values for the intersection group. I'm going to put a timer there when I feel everybody's ready, and probably a 5 minute or something, or 7 minute. We'll see. We'll see how the group goes. And then I'm going to ask you write down all these different core values that should apply to us. We are going to take time to group them together. Some core values are going to be similar or the same. So just build these different stacks of core values. And then the last part will be as a team or individually, sorry, vote for the core values that are more important to you for the group, where each team is going to have their top 3 core values. And then we're going to come back and share it with everybody. These are going to be the different steps. No worries if you have questions. I'm going to move from one room to another to make sure everything is going well. And let's say you're in team 5 and I haven't visited you in 10 minutes. The video instruction are actually on the left here. So you can click here and see the recording on everything. I explained the board and everything. So if you miss something, not there, you can go there and you will be able to, to have the instruction for the whole thing there. And when we're done, there's another exercise after this one. So right now I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. If I can find where, oh, here it is. I'm going to start the group.
And so, please send the Miro link.
Yep, give me a second here. So many things to do. I have no co-facilitator today, so multitasking. Here we go. So while everybody is connecting to the Miro board, I just put the link on the chat. I'm going to bring everybody to what I see in the Miro board, so you're not lost. Generally, when we create the different breakout room, they are numbered. If they aren't numbered for one reason or another, sometimes there are some update and something changed there. I'm going to go from one room to another and say your team 1, your team 2, your team 3, and everything. So no worries. So the team are going to be random. And I'm going to be, how many are we waiting? So just let me calculate something. Okay, there are going to be 4 teams. So we'll see group will be 4 or to 5 people. I'm going to create them. They're made. I know some of you guys might have done this workshop prior with me. So just leave a little bit more room for the others to talk. But still you can contribute, vote, and add some core values there. So I'm going to start everything, and you will be teleported into the room in a moment here. So how does it work? Everybody's teleporting. Here we go. Ouais, ben je m'en vais parler là. So welcome back to the main room. We are going to wait because some people are might be still talking in other rooms.
That's magic. That's magic. Thank you, Zoom.
Okay, team 1, no volunteer yet. So do you have your volunteer? Is the team 1 with us actually?
Yeah, but it's the empty window. I'll do it.
Okay, great.
Windows are always empty, of course.
Let's see. Is everybody here actually? Yeah, I think we're all here. 18 people are still moving. In a minute, should be fine. Okay, so before we share everything, like anybody have any thought about what we just did? Was it fun? Did you have good conversation?
Really good conversation. Really enjoyed the first exercise. Did not particularly enjoy the second exercise.
Okay, great. Noted. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, great. It's a quiet room. Is Wolfgang still with us? I don't see him. Oh yeah, okay.
Yes.
I see you.
Shall I
Hello?
say something? I don't want to. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm just like looking and make sure everybody's there. And lots of
Maybe
people.
I can share that we thought of a new feature for Miro is a way to, when more than one people drags at a post-it, it tears up in pieces. That would be nice. That's just my input.
I think it's a wonderful idea. It would be really, really fun. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we're going to share the core value, what people came out with, and what are their thought on the different values there. Wolfgang and Milan, since you're on the core team, you listen and you absorb the information. Okay, so if you're still on the Miro board, I'm going to bring everybody to me just to make sure everybody sees the same thing. And here, what we're going to do, I'm going to put a 3-minute timer. So you have 3 minutes to tell us what are the core values and why do you think your team chose the best core values? So Pascal, you have 3 minutes for that. Make it a sales pitch.
Hey, that wasn't the instruction, right? God damn it.
Or you can just share it casually, no worries. No pressure.
No, okay.
So go ahead.
We thought we were a bit lazy with the first one because I think it comes up with every discussion or lots of discussions we have on Slack and everywhere else. We want to share things that as open and as transparent as possible. We're not by committee or not that much. We're probably not going to charge any membership fees. We're not closed source. We cannot reach our goal if we're not transparent in everything we share and the way we share things. And that's also why we have our Slack and people can contribute any which way they want. We had some post-its that talked about being open to multiple perspectives, which is for, I think, a lot of people, one reason they joined Intersection. We see the pots of gold are where different disciplines meet. I guess for me, that was the reason to join. It's about sharing, it's about learning from each other, continuous improvement, and we gave it the value collective wisdom. And then we have a value called fairness. It's about building bridges. It's about managing conflicts. It's about trying to reach a vision together with people from different disciplines, a lot of different perspectives, and reaching harmony. I'm just reading and improvising here. So it's fairness to all groups wherever they come from. And
right. You still have a minute left. So maybe take time just to share the brand identity board. Did you notice anything interesting? Did you have any conversation that were more interesting on that board?
I think I speak for the other ones in my team, and it's what Nathan also says, that there was not a lot of enthusiasm for this. It's a difficult one. I also didn't do the exercise to start with because I did it before, and it was quite confronting because it's also personal. You take one of the green dots and you show to the other ones, well, this is where I'm standing. And in a previous exercise, everyone was clustered at one side of one of the lines, and for one reason or the other, I was always on the other side. Now there's more of a distribution, we're not sure what we can take away from this exercise, to be honest.
Okay, great.
For the others.
This is actually the first time I do like these 2 workshops with a wide group, and like every team is going to have like different core values, and you probably have different conversation there. So we are trying to capture all these things. And of course, at the end of that workshop, we aren't going to have like, let's say, these are actually the top 3 values we are going to use a group. It's more qualitative now. So we'll have a list of a short list of core values, and then maybe we want to go a quantitative route afterward, like which core values are best and why, and why does it relate to people. So there are going to be some next step. So yeah, for sure, these are challenging, but like I told your group, everybody's already aligned on the vision, there's less conversation. And if there are less conversation, you actually learn less. So we are looking for meaning in these conversations. So thanks for sharing. We're going to go to team number 2, and we're going to ask Andrea.
Yeah, so in my group, so we were with Dennis, with Johannes and Valerie, and I think we had quite a nice conversation, and we ended up agreeing very quickly also on the 3 core values, which are empathic, inclusive, and practical. So what is empathic all about? It kind of comes from the philosophy and the ethos we're doing this for. So we know for whom we are coming together as a team and building this vision. We are client-centric by design. And it's the empathy not only for the needs of the clients, who can be, different stakeholders of the organization and customers, partners, but also empathy with business needs. And I think finding this balance between the different needs, that's something we stand for as a team, and value and behavior in our work. We are also inclusive, and this is something you can see not only from the team structure as it is set up as a group, but also it's the evidence in our solutions. And it's the evidence in our solution that holds the participation and everyone's input. Because it's such a holistic concept where everybody needs to bring their contribution, we do not define the solution as being the answer of a, let's say, business analyst, but we define it holistically and inclusively with all of the key participants around the table. And last but not least, we are practical. And I think this might be very familiar for a lot of you, because we've seen what it means to, talk in the skies and be very theoretical. And we actually want to solve problems to create this better enterprises. So we want to be very accessible, straightforward, for all of those who want to first unlearn how maybe things are being done right now, so that they can learn then in a very easy way the new ways of building a better enterprise, and healthy and also sustainable in times of crisis. So these are our 3 values. There's, I think, a bunch more which are more, let's say, sub-values of sub-actions, sub-behaviors, but this would be the 3 big clusters. And from a brand map perspective, this is an exercise we actually enjoyed. I came, at least myself, out of it laughing. So I think that was a good time we had there. And we agreed that we are kind of like in a middle-ish line. with a focus on the rebel side, because we are challenging the way the enterprise is being built, designed, and managed. So it comes from the purpose itself of why we're here today. And we are more towards the friend side rather than an authority one, because we see ourselves as being partners for those who reach out and need our support to build things further. If there's anything, guys, you'd like to add that has not been mentioned, you can develop more on that.
Yeah, time's over. Maybe just one thing. I think we had a quite a long discussion about elite and mass appeal, and we didn't come to a final conclusion about if we, for instance, want to address 100,000 of people or a smaller group, which also means more or less control on the work, the methods, and the tools that make the discipline. So that's why we ended up in the middle.
That's okay. Someone asked in the comments, like, what is the goal of the second exercise? I'm going to do a longer recap, but one thing that might be interesting too is to like, this is made to see like how do we want people to perceive us, but it's only a discussion starter. So maybe what we actually want is to have many layers in these, let's say in this particular area. We might want to look mass appeal, but we also might have a part of us that actually are more appealing to elite. So we have to play with these different concepts and see like how people interact with us and what we want to do and with all these things. I don't know if it makes sense to everybody. I know I'm one of the 3 branding guy in here. To me, it makes a lot of sense. I know what I'm going to do, but maybe we'll do something else with that if you are more interested on what I actually do in a daily basis there when I do branding sprint and everything. We're going to move on with the core values. So I'm going to bring everybody to me. So Nicolas.
Hey, Jan. So our core values were, sorry, let me make this more of a sales pitch, like he said. So we believe in order to create better enterprises and to spread that wisdom of how to do it, that we need to really have a mindset to overcome our stupidity. And what we mean by that is really understanding that, you know, we got to question our approach to things, question our beliefs of things. And in doing so, that will help us really bring a diverse group of actors in to accomplish something, you know, beyond the norm. And really that's about challenging how we do things today, and, you know, including more people and, you know, a diverse set of team and everything else will really help us do that.
So that's it. That was fast.
Yeah, short and sweet.
So I'm multitasking. So there's a lot of things to, maybe I haven't listened to everything. Don't repeat it. Can you talk about the branding identity part there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we believed that the red dots were more of our way of just, you know, aggregating everything. But we believe that we need to be like a balance of mass appeal and also elite. And that comes from the understanding that, you know, we want to affect large communities to create better organizations around the world, but we also want to become the central body known for creating, you know, the best organizations in the world. You know, we believe that in order to do that, we're going to need to be a lot more playful, or a little more playful than serious. But nonetheless, this is serious work. This is what, you know, really what people do day to day. We all go to our jobs and everything else. And so, you know, this is also pretty serious work. In addition to that, we want to be a little more rebellious than conventional. And that just goes back to our core value of challenging the mainstream and challenging our belief of, you know, this is the only way to do it. Moving into the next one, we want to be a little more friendly than authoritative. And that just goes back to the collaborative nature of things, being, you know, interdisciplinary, that balanced polarity, understanding that, you know, marketing and branding and, you know, the finance department, all that stuff really works together versus in their silos. And then, you know, obviously we want to be young and innovative since we're constantly trying to push new ideas to the world.
Right. Anything in the team, anybody in the team want to add something? There's 6
By the way,
seconds left. Yeah, go.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say the brand identity stuff, isn't it really about, you know, really what we're trying to do here is just get ideas on what we believe the organization should feel like, look like, sound like, and so forth. And even though they're different working streams, we're trying to find the commonalities amongst the different streams so that, you know, the intersection group can be presented correctly, like, you know, representing all the different areas of it.
Yeah, actually, when I do these kind of things, I ask people like, where should the brand stand? And I'm also a UX designer. So when the brand is done, I give that grid as a prototype and ask people, look at our brand. Where do you think we stand in that grid? So now you can make a correlation in between what we are trying to say and what people understand about us. And if it's not aligned with what we try to say, there's something we must adjust with the branding and also the communication and the way we write with the UX writing and everything. So, and technically the brand should be aligned with the experience and should be aligned with the why and the core values. So it's all
in the business strategy.
There you go. So it's a tool for me as a UX designer, branding guide, branding professional to see if all these things are actually aligned.
Could I add a little word to?
Is it going to be long? Because there's like 7 minutes left. 6, yeah.
Very, very short. So the whole thing with stupidity, if you look at this Dunning-Kruger effect, it's about everything about the enterprise are complex matters, and we need to fight complexity with complexity in this sense. And so it's not like being 1 year in the business and then knowing what it's all about. So you really need to go through certain phases in life to really know what it's about. That's about stupidity. So take people along in a way that they overcome this first peak, the peak of Mr. That's it.
Sure. And I'd say to that, like, the hard part is to make it simple. Okay, great. And the last team, Helgi.
We had a really good discussion. I think we got kind of stuck in just discussing these the first topic, but we landed on 3 words that are not really approachable, but we fell for them because they really are descriptive about what we wanna accomplish. Liminal thinking is about the understanding the beliefs of others and reframing and shaping and reframing them. No, it doesn't really matter what the beliefs is about. It can be beliefs about identity, enterprise, architecture, experience, or anything like that. And being able to put yourself in the footsteps of people that possibly don't share your own belief, so you can actually understand and begin reshaping them and co-creating them. Demonstratable is about being able to demonstrate that we don't just tell people, we show them that we are actually able to visualize and show through experience that why we think in one way and why we should change. And democratizable is basically about everybody. We need to bring many people into the perspective of making things, but at the same time we're actually making it for multiple people. So it really needs to be democratizable to be able to fix. I think it actually aligns with many of the things that the other groups have talked about. So yeah, these are the things that we definitely fell for. We didn't put that much time into the brand identity exercise, and we didn't manage to finish it. We had a little bit of discussion about the purpose and what we're supposed to do about it. And also we got kind of stuck on that friend versus authority. We didn't really see them as different poles. So, well, yeah, here's where you ended up. I'm not sure if I can say much more about that.
Okay. Well, no worries. Like every group have different pace, and when we have more group, like we have to adjust. But I think at least you talked a lot and you shared a lot there.
Yeah.
So that was the main goal. We have now, if we look back at all this information, there's I don't know, there's a lot of core values. There's every team have a top 3. We did the same thing with the work lead. There's the reason why, there's the brand. So that's a lot of information now that the core team can take, evaluate, and say, okay, this is actually what the group should be. And let's say, it will be easier to identify what are actually the core values. There's 3 minutes left. So we've done everything I wanted to do with that workshop. Thanks for all the information. If you haven't done the first part where you can interact with the facet and the toolkit, and you have questions and job titles and put your name there, you can go ahead. And now I'll leave the floor for the 2 or 3 minutes left to Milan and Wolfgang.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. So I think for us, it's basically a way to see if we share the same idea or idea of a purpose of what it is all about that we're doing. And if I look I'm just zoomed out and I look at where the red dots are, and like, even though there were some discussions, like they are not incredibly far away from each other. And I think the top 3 values are also not incredibly far away from each other. So I think there is an identity that we see emerging. And I guess the job of brand and experience designers like Jean-Sebastian that we have in the team is then also to take this and turn it into a brand experience that someone who encounters intersection for the first time then can actually see and interact with. So these are very important milestones on that one, and we want to do the opposite of a classic, top-down brand approach where we would ask some agency to come up with something and like some nice whatever slogan, and then we impose that on the world.
Yeah, and maybe the 1 minute left, just a few words from my side. So thanks, Jean-Sebastian, for facilitating us. It was an awesome experience. So it was really helpful, and this Miro experience. So thank you very much. And I think what we're gonna do with the input from you all, thanks for that. We will have it as an input for our branding process. So with Ibtisam and Jean-Sebastian, we have some brand designers, and Dennis and so on. We are working on the web page. So, and after all, of course, these values and the mission statement and so on will be there. And so your input was really, really important. And maybe I'm also happy that 20 members made it today. And I think it's also encouraging. So I think we will have maybe quarterly meetings where we invite all the members. So I'm maybe expected in June or so that we will invite another meeting. I don't know what the topics will be, but I think for us, it's really very important to have a format to stay in touch, right? So we don't want to lose you. And we have the Slack channel and so on. Yeah, and what's left? No.
There are some comments and some questions on the board in the area that we didn't look at so much in detail today, like the discussion on the facets and the loop. I will go through and answer some of the questions and also some of the comments. And so everyone, like Valeria did on the organization facet in the middle, you can all add questions or comments on each of the stickies, and we can have a little of a conversation there, and then also at some point.
And I will share the recording on the wiki and on the Slack, and there will be monthly campfire sessions. So that's also an advertisement. So I think it's really encouraging, and it was really good for us to get in touch with you. Please use Slack. So that's then the next. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on Slack. So I know not everybody is on Slack, but please foster it. We have amazing discussions there. Okay, so yeah, so we are 1 minute late.
Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you, Jean-Sébastien.
Very helpful, amazing session. Thank you.
Great, and I know some of you had the question, someone joining late. I'm going to stay a few minutes
Yes,
to explain what happened there.
Yes, Jean, I'm Kiran here, joined from Bangalore. So I just missed out the whole initial part. So I'll sit with you for probably offline 10-15 minutes and fill up the Miro charts because I'm not too sure the way it went. I'll definitely watch the recording, but I will, if you have the time, I will, after this meeting, I'll sit with you. I don't want to hijack everyone's time.
Sure. Maybe we can stop the recording now. I think we don't need to record that part. So I'm going to stop it there.